Hey, it's TC Josie. In this video, I'll be going over what to expect when you receive your basics open to close setup. So I just want to give you a quick tour around just so that you know where things are. So we'll start with the support tab here. This right here will bring you to their support page where you can search for just about anything. And they're going to, if I could type and talk, that would be great. And they're going to give you all of the resources that you would need for whatever that is. Property tables. You'll be able to search just about anything and get videos, blogs, tips on getting started. So on top of this video, you have this resource right here that will give you loads of information on different things that you can do within Open to Close. So we will go ahead and start right up here. So the dashboard is where your task triggers will be, your unapproved documents if submitted through the intake form, your intake form submissions, your contact history, and your property history. You can also have your or view your property and contact history from this button here. That's my favorite way of doing it, and really just taking these widgets out of the way so that I'm hyper focused on just these three. This is a super easy way to see your property history and your contact history. Next is the house icon here. This is where all of your properties will live once you do have your properties in here. So I did create a table for you, and basically when you add a property, you'll have, just like a virtual whiteboard, a bunch of columns here. And I'll go ahead and jump into an actual one towards the end of this. But to update this table and how that looks and add segments, which are smaller tables based on your large table, you would just come down here to table columns, and by clicking, you're adding those different fields to your table. So you see here, I've got a big virtual whiteboard set up for you, but I'm going to go ahead and delete these things. Just know that this is how you can go ahead and add those things from here. You can do from either the transaction management, the listing management tab. This teams and agents is for having new teams on board or agents on board to your TC business, basically onboarding new agents. You're able to create an actual intake form and have them submit this at the beginning, and that is just a nice bonus that you get with my setups. I think this is a great touch. This is asking them, their pets' names, birthdays, their spouses, children's birthdays and names. That way you can start, you can apply a task template to their contact within OTC, within their property in OTC, and you can do some special touches for them. You can also filter by contact here, or have a contact column, so you can have the buyer's agent and the seller's agent show for each transaction. And if you wanted to bring that all the way to the top here, you could, just by doing that. And of course, you saw me do this before. If you'd like to delete anything, just hit that trash icon and it'll update. So these how it works buttons are all over OTC. So definitely dive into that so that you can kind of learn more on what you can do within each of these pages. So the contacts tab. This is much like the property tab where we have our tables and we have our segments. If you wanted to have a big contact table, which we've created for you, with segments on broken down by buyer agent or lenders or title companies, you can look at all of these filters here and really get deep, dive deep on how you want this to look for yourself. Same for the properties table. You have a date filter. So if you wanted to see anything closing between the 23rd and the 27th, you'd apply that date, and then you'd come down here and change that date filter to the closing date. That way you're seeing everything closing between those dates. If you wanted to see just buyers, you can select just the client type, or sellers, or dual. If you wanted to see only your pending, or only your active, or only your terminated, you could do it with the contract status. And then the contacts, if you had a specific contact, like you wanted to see all of John Doe's transactions, one of your agents, you can edit this, search your database for that agent, and see only their transactions. So you can create an entire table for just one agent if you wanted to. The assigned team, if you had a bunch of teams, you can do it through here. You can really split them up. And then by team user, if you have more than one team, this is where you can go ahead and add, I just want to see Betty's, I just want to see Sarah's, and you can really get specific on that. And then you can clear all of your filters. You can clear them individually when you have something in there. And you can, the table columns we went over, if you wanted to have a user, if you have multiple users on your team, you can have this big table shared across your entire team. And then you've got the export. So if you wanted to create a report for your agent and export it as a CSV for them to see in an Excel spreadsheet or whatever it was, you can do that too. So just keep that in mind. We really dove deep into here about filters. You can do a lot of the same stuff here. Your task pipeline is where all of your tasks will live. You can sort this however you'd like, but we've created some snapshots for you, which is basically just a focus on exactly what it is. So if you clicked on the due today, you're seeing everything that was due today. You click on tomorrow, everything due tomorrow. And if you click on past due, anything that's past due. You can simply create a new one if you wanted to. If you wanted to say create a snapshot, you can create one called, let's just say purple. And then you can have this purple one be just your color purple tasks. So you can really customize how you want this to look. You can do it by a specific tag once you add those to your tasks, and you can sort them by just critical. So if you wanted to call this critical and have just your critical tasks, you can do that too. I'm going to go ahead and delete this snapshot. And now we're back to our original snapshots. Okay, great. So that is a task pipeline. This is another place where your intake forms will live when you have them submitted. So like I mentioned, down here, the intake form submissions will be on your dashboard, but you also have a whole page that you can see all of them. When you have big teams, or if you have different setups, you can definitely get specific on what you're seeing there. And let me see. This is where once you sync your Google or your Microsoft, this is where your inbox will live, your sent mail, your read. This is great when you have a team and you don't really want them in your inbox, but you want them to see, be able to see it from here. This is a great API synchronization where you can see everything, scheduled emails, any draft emails, all in your open to close. Added bonus. You can see all of the calendar events, and if you have multiple calendars, you can access them through here, and you can manage your calendars here. And this is pretty straightforward. So any date that you have in your field editor with the purple house icon, so I'm sorry, the purple calendar icon. So like this closing date, it has the purple calendar. This is going to show up in your calendar app. But if you have, let me see if I can find one. I think I have them so they all show up. But yeah, you can have it so they don't show up. So it's just the API sync. If you want them to show up on your calendar, you can really control that. So I did want to next dive into the hammer icon. This is where a lot of your back end stuff will live, almost all of them, outside of the settings wheel here. So we'll dive in here really quick, and I wanted to show you first things first, the filters. The filters are basically shells for different things. So this right here, this contact roles, this is a shell for a buyer. This is a shell for a seller. CC on all buyer is anyone that wants to be copied on all buyer emails. CC on all sellers, CC on all buyer's agent. This is great if an agent has an assistant, a TC, and an operations manager that they want copied on all communications. So you can have the TC, assistant, and ops manager all in this shell, so that every time you send an email that has this as the CC, they will automatically populate in that email to send it to them as well. So instead of you having 3 different contact roles, one for buyer's agent transaction coordinator, buyer's agent's assistant, and buyer's agent operations manager, now you can just put them all in this one shell and easily attach them without having to assign specific file contact roles. It's a very easy way to get multiple people in one contact role. Same for escrow. They might have a scheduler, a closer, and the actual escrow officer, but we can do CC on all escrow or CC on all lender for the lender processor and things like that. So you can really save a lot of time by just sticking all of those copy on all person into this one, and they'll be good. You've got a lot of other contact roles that you will eventually have bunch of email templates to stick them in, and this little purple star is making it so this contact will show in the agent portal if you allow them to see these contacts. So if this contact existed in the transaction, the agent will be able to see this. So that is it for the contact roles. Next, we'll dive into the file roles. The file roles are shells for actual documents. So you see here that I have all amendments, all contract documents, you'll see all invoices. So these are much like the contact roles, where we can have that shell in an email template so that whatever buyer is in that buyer shell gets automatically added to the email. This is for files. So we're able to say, every time we send an intro, I want to automatically add whatever documents are in the file role, all contract documents. And that will automatically add it to the email, which we'll dive into in just a little bit. So this is pretty straightforward. Just add by typing here, and you can delete. Go ahead and go through it and really make it your own. If you wanted to change the names of things, like instead of amendment, if you are your state uses addenda, you can do that and kind of change it just by clicking it and changing to addenda. Click enter, and it'll be all good. And I'm going to go ahead and click away, and I'm going to change that back. I feel like there's more amendment states than addenda ones. So these are for businesses. Businesses are for maybe like a brokerage that you work with multiple agents in that same brokerage, and you're onboarding them. So you continue to onboard these people. So you're able to save that business's contact information so that every time you get a new agent from that office, you just need to search that business name, and it's going to auto-populate whatever you have in this business tab. Your businesses will show up here, and you can just quickly add them through here. If you wanted groups for your agents, you could do it just like this, like my agents, just like this example here, and you wanted to create just a group, you could do mass emails to those groups. You can add those groups. Like, let's just say you have a team of agents, or you have a team, and the team leader and the ops manager and their assistant all need to be in one group, so you can easily add that group to a transaction. You can do that here. And then lead source, you can tag them as a specific lead source. So that's with the filters, and I'm going to cut this video here so that we can go to the next video where we'll dive deeper into our templates.